G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I of course will be covering all the winners from the solo all-star FNCS. I managed to watch NA East, EU, NA West, and OCE, and man, the endings were absolutely ridiculous. We had Tayson beat Vino in the last 1v1. Whoever won that won the tournament. First versus second after 6 games with $150,000 for first in line. We're talking one of the best moments in Fortnite competitive history. NA East, we had an underrated, we had PaMstou come out of nowhere, win the $75,000. NA West, Riversan absolutely popped off. OCE, we had Volks bringing it back, dominating since before World Cup. There's a lot to cover. I want to talk about the big moments. I want to show you the clips, bring you the hype. It's going to be a good video. Normally when I talk about the regions, I do them in order, but I gotta start off with EU. Man, EU was something else. This has to be one of the closest tournaments we've ever seen and one of the biggest fights we've ever seen. If you somehow missed it, Tayson ended up winning EU the $150,000. Going into the last game, it was a 2-horse race. They were so far ahead. It was Tayson and Vino way further ahead than anyone else. If they both went down on spawn and someone else won, it could have been different, but with them both going into the last game, with them both being up, going into the end game, it came down to Tayson versus Vino in the final 1v1. First versus second, Tayson ended up winning it, getting a 6 elim victory royale. Vino got a 1 elim second place. Yes, the final 1v1 didn't matter. Even if Tayson lost it and Vino had won it, he still wouldn't have won the tournament, but to see second versus first at the very end, and when it was going into endgame, you had both of them. Tayson started dropping elims. If Tayson didn't get those extra eliminations, he would have lost it. The difference is only 2 points. Second to first is only 2 points. It's not a huge jump up. It was just so ridiculous. Tayson walked away with $150,000. That now makes Tayson, I believe, the second highest online earner of all time. I think Benjy still holds the record. Tayson has now made $474,294. And that's without World Cup and without Season X, when all the big money was. It's been a debate for a while. Who's the best player in Fortnite? Who's the best player in the world? And it's always been a debate, right? And I've always said Tayson is unarguably top 3. At this point, can you argue against him? Can you argue against him? He's won 3 FNCSs. This technically isn't going to count as an FNCS win. Epic have said they're not giving out champions pickaxes for this, which makes sense. You invited 90 players, only 10 qualified. It's not the same in that context, but it's still the 100 best players in EU, NA East, whatever the region is. So he just came first, $150,000. That's 3 FNCSs he's win, all online. My man is a demon. The last 2 solo FNCSs we've seen, Tayson has won both of them in EU. This man is a freak. He is good at everything. He came 3rd in the last trios. He's won another FNCS on top of that. This guy is absolutely insane. He also popped off in the Cash Cups recently. He came 2nd in the last DreamHack Duos with Thomas HD. It's got to be unarguably at this point, and I've never said that. You guys know me. I've always said the reason I love Fortnite is it's a game where on any given day, anyone can be on top. Anyone can pop off, and with a bit of luck, it's about who's the best going into it, who also has a decent drop spot and a bit of luck will win it. But Tayson just wins everything. Like, this level of consistency on EU, when we saw some of the other favorites on EU, like Mr. Savage, like not really even placed top 20, shows you how high the caliber of the games were. And I know solos is tough. People get headshots tonight. We had big pros like Clicks crash. We had Booger get a glitch where he went under the map. Like, there's things that can go wrong, and none of those went wrong for Tayson, but to still be that consistent in 2 separate solo FNCSs is ridiculous. I'll show you the clip of the very end fight to show you just how intense it was. Tayson just got 4 eliminations in 30 seconds including the one on the guy coming second who was beating him coming into this last game. That was the 8 points for the eliminations, and then obviously all the extra placement points that secured him the win. If he didn't get a few of those eliminations and Vino did, or Vino beat him at the end, he would have lost. Everything on the line, and Tayson clutches up like I swear only Tayson can. Just, again, I feel like this was getting a lot of hype, it was getting a lot of love, but just let that settle in. I don't think we've ever seen a solo finish like that. First versus second at the very end, that close on points, and one of them manages to wipe every remaining player to get enough elimination points to take out the win. But I've also got to give some love to Vino. That is a ridiculous performance. If you go to Vino's Fortnite tracker right now, it is actually wrong. It doesn't show his proper earnings. It does show the earnings on just this account. If you remember, last FNCS, Vino was actually disqualified, or his account got deleted because he bought it. We're past that. He bought the account years ago. He wasn't allowed to play FNCS. Not going to try and make drama out of it. But if you go to his profile, that's why it's missing his earnings. It says he's now earned $120,600. So that means he only had $600 before this event. I was asking around. It looks like a lot of people said he actually has about $15,000, $16,000 earned. So he went from $15,000 earned in his whole career up until now to making $120,000 in a single day. Absolutely ridiculous. And I also want to take this moment to shout this out here. If you guys didn't know, both these players are coached by Destiny Jesus. The FaZe coach, the Fortnite coach, he does the masterclass. If you guys want to get better, I'm doing Path to Pro. I'd recommend checking it out. I'm plugging him here, not because he asked me to, not because he told me to, but that is ridiculous. Two players coming first and second out of EU, just making $270,000 between them, and they have the same coach. My man's doing something right. Looking at the rest of the EU leaderboard, we had a lot of placements you'd expect. We had Kinzel in 5th, Rezon in 6th. I mean, we had, I think it's Erkin in 3rd and Nebs in 4th. Again, I'm trying to get my EU knowledge up here, but we had the big names placing. Thomas was 9th, Vastroki was 8th. There was a lot of good placements, but it's also worth mentioning we did have a few favorites struggle. I mean, I called out Savage and Hen as two of my favorites to win EU. Again, it's hard to predict when you're coming into these events with a lack of practice. We didn't get to see any of them play the qualifiers because they were invited. We don't know about drop spots. I'm not defending my predictions. I got quite a few of them wrong. I said Tayson would do well, and that's about the best one that I got, but it's hard to predict, and it's hard to play consistent. We had Hen come in 27th, Savage come in 65th, and Benjy come in 70th. I mean, Benjy said he didn't really have any expectations coming into today. He's just focusing on trios. Savage didn't really say anything. Hen was really upset. He said he's going to go dark for a while, and it's not about the money. He just wants to place higher, and he knows he could have done better. So some of the pros handled it well. Some of them were a bit upset, but overall, it was a tough event where there was not a preparation, there wasn't a lot of practice, and not a lot of players went into it fully prepared. So I don't want that to take away from players like Tayson. If anything, that's even more impressive how he can just be so dominant in a meta he hasn't really played, in a game mode he hasn't really played. But I do think it's fair to give a bit of an out to some of the pros who maybe didn't pick it up as quickly or do as well. It's trios next, and they go again. Moving on to NA East, this was definitely not a story of a big favorite like Tayson winning it out and showing that he's still the best in the region. We had a new face come out. We had PaMstou. If you guys don't know, I say PaMstou. Apparently it's PaMstou because he is French-Canadian. He's been around for a while, my man. Has made multiple FNCS finals. Great player. He's been playing with Carey and Fatch, and he did insanely well. He came in first on 104 points. He played 6 games. He got 1 victory out, his second last game, and he had a pretty big comeback. He started off a bit slow, 4 elim 14th, a 0 elim 17th, a 0 elim 65th, but then he turns it all around. He got a 1 elim 3rd and a 7 elim win back to back. That is so many points. He backed it up with a 1 elim 27th in the last game, which was scary. Casca was up, and Casca was going ham in the last game. He came second. He got a 2 elim 5th, and he just fell short. If he managed to get that victory out, he could have overtaken him, but I'm really happy PaMstou managed to win that one. Like I said with Vino as well, this is a player who didn't have a lot of earnings before today. He had $13,127, and today he made $75,000. So he's gone from just under 15K to almost 90,000 in a single day. That is insane. I'm super happy for him. Casca as well, one of the quieter players in the scene, really popped off, did insanely well, came so close. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, a 3rd place is still ridiculous. You had Kanata in 94 points, but he was in a big lead. Kanata had a 7 elim 6th, a 5 elim win, and a 1 elim 14th, which I think put him at one point about 30 points in the lead. And the last 3 games, it came unstuck. He got a 0 elim 55th, a 0 elim 42nd, and a 1 elim 28th. Still a ridiculously good performance from what is one of the best solo players in the region. I predicted Kanata or Stretch to win it. That he played really well. Slacks was in 4th. Again, another quiet fragger in the scene, 87 points. Tragics was up there. Dubs, Bucky, Peterbot, Cease, Edgy. We had a lot of the faces we'd expect. There was some missing though. Stretch was down in 18th. I expected more, but still a really good performance. Booger, unfortunately, was in 21st. He had a rough day of things. Game 1, his Lambo went under the ground and he just died. That was it. He just went down to a glitch, which in game 1 of 6, in solos, that's a mental killer. That really does put you on tilt. And he still did well considering 21st. Unfortunately, we did have obviously the big name of Clicks. Clicks didn't have a good run of things. He crashed. There was quite a few crashes today. He crashed as well. He had a rough game. Last game, he got dropped on 50-50. He got taken out. Clicks went into this with not a lot of expectations, similar to Benjy Fishy, so I don't think he was super upset about it. Would have been cool to see him pop off and do well, but it was a tough tournament, and genuinely, PaMstou did phenomenal. Casca came back. It was a tough day of games, and I think some of the best players did really well. We also had some other big notable finishes. We had Fatch, which was PaMstou's teammate up there. They did really well. At one point, it looked like Tragics was potentially going to win it. I'm so happy he pulled off a 5th. Across the board, the NA East was a really good day. It didn't have that same hype as what EU did because, I mean, when 1st versus 2nd at the very end, and Tayson gets 4 elims back-to-back and a win to take the tournament, it's hard to back that up. But the NA East was good. There was very little drama. It was a great tournament, and I really enjoyed watching it. I know I don't show a lot of love to my NA West guys despite watching every tournament, but NA West today was ridiculous. You had Riversan in the biggest lead I think we've seen in any region. I might have to speak for the other regions, but at one point, my man was 40 points ahead. He had a 4 elim 3rd and a 5 elim win, which I think put him 30 or 40 points ahead. He then had a 0 elim 37th, which dropped him down a little bit. People started to catch up. Then he got a 4 elim 10th. So going into the last 2 games, I think he had like a 40-something point lead. I thought there was no way anyone was going to catch him. Game 5, he went down 40th with 1 elim, his worst game of the day. Fratby started to catch up. He got a 5 elim win, and 2 games before that, he got a 6 elim win. So Fratby was quick on his tail, and in the last game, though, Riversan held on to it. He got a 0 elim 13th, which was enough, and you had Fratby get a 0 elim 58th. Reap was catching up too as well. Reap went from a 0 elim 94th, 2 elim 26th, and a 1 elim 32nd to a 5 elim 3rd, 5 elim 2nd, and 2 elim 11th. Reap brought it back massively. Again, you can see the leaderboard, but Riversan won it. He got 1st with 110, Fratby with 98, Reed with 97, 1 more elim, and he would have taken out 2nd. But if you look at the prize distribution for NA West, it wasn't a huge difference. The biggest difference was between 1st and 2nd, and then between 3rd and 4th. So the fact that Reed secured 3rd was really good. I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. We saw Epic Whale because, I mean, it's not an NA West leaderboard without Epic Whale, but not on the podium. We had no Arkram Rex or Epic Whale on the podium, but it's solos. It's always going to be tougher. Jay in 5th. We had Dylan in 6th. Batman Booger, my man. I know people flame him a lot for name himself after Booger, but my man placed higher. He's taken the name. That's all I'm saying. I love Batman Booger. Alithi, Macon, and then we had Tina Chicken, who unfortunately a 3 elim game 1 was off to a fantastic start. Slowed down a little bit in the middle. Brought it back with a 3 elim 17th, but a good performance. Exy and then Arkram in 12th. So we were missing some big names. Obviously, Wavy Jacob couldn't play. I've already talked about that in a video. I was hoping for like Favs to have a big performance as well. I think Rex at one point was really high up there, but unfortunately his last 3 games really let him down. But NA West was a lot of fun to watch, and watching Riversan go from East back to West last trio season, not do well, and a lot of people question that. It was awesome to see the World Cup solo players show up big in solos again. I know what you guys are thinking now. Aussie tournaments are over. What's the plan? You guys probably already know it's path to pro time. I made my intro video a few days ago. I've been grinding creative the last few days. I'm excited to make a guide video and start showing you what I've got kind of on the way. I think one of my first videos, I want to do like a kind of creative VOD review. I want to go watch some of the best build fighters, and I want to see what they do to win their fights, because that's what I'm really struggling with. I'm going to bring in my arena journey so far. I've got about 10 to 12,000 points across my account so far, so I'm getting there in arena right now. School holidays in in my region just started, so queues are going to speed up so I can actually get champs and play on the one account. I don't have to wait for everyone else to catch up. It's going to be a good time, so expect those videos in the next few days. We got a couple weeks until cash cups come back. I want to do some arena kill races with some of the pros. I want to do some interviews. I'll keep the competitive content there, but I think a lot of it is going to be my path to pro series, helping you guys become the best players you can. So stay tuned for that. But that does it for today's video. If you liked it, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.